Hello everyone, and welcome to Readings in English. My channel is dedicated to helping you improve your English language skills through captivating storytelling. English, as you probably know, is a global language opening doors to countless opportunities, from connecting with people around the world to accessing a vast library of literature, film, and music. But mastering English can be challenging. It's a language rich in nuances, idioms, and unexpected turns of phrase. That's where I come in. On Readings in English, we'll embark on exciting literary journeys together, exploring stories that will not only entertain you but also enhance your comprehension and vocabulary. We'll tackle diverse genres and writing styles, gradually expanding your understanding of the English language in a fun and engaging way. Today, we're beginning a heartwarming tale that perfectly embodies the spirit of this channel, The Lost Dog. This story follows a young boy named Alex, who finds himself in a new town, struggling with a new language, and unexpectedly tasked with caring for a lost dog. It's a story about overcoming challenges, forming unexpected friendships, and the power of compassion, all while immersing ourselves in the beauty and richness of the English language. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's dive into the captivating world of The Lost Dog. Remember to like and subscribe for more engaging English language learning content. 10-year-old Alex clutched his worn copy of Treasure Island, his gaze fixed on the blurry landscape whizzing past the car window. The familiar streets of his old town were a fading memory, replaced by the unfamiliar sprawl of Oakhaven. The move had been abrupt, a whirlwind of packing boxes and tearful goodbyes. He missed his friends, his old school, even the grumpy neighbor's perpetually barking dog. Oakhaven felt different, larger, more intimidating. The houses were bigger, the people seemed busier, and the language, English, his new language, felt like a tangled knot he couldn't unravel. He understood most of what was said in class, but speaking it, actually forming sentences and engaging in conversations, felt like climbing a sheer cliff face with bare hands. His classmates, chattering away in their effortless English, seemed miles ahead. He tried to join their games, but his halting phrases and hesitant pronunciation often resulted in confused stares and polite but distant smiles. He felt like a silent observer, a ghost in his own life. The book in his hand offered a temporary escape, The Adventures of Jim Hawkins, a welcome distraction from the overwhelming reality of his new life. He longed for the comforting familiarity of home, for the easy flow of conversation with his friends. He sighed, closing the book, the weight of his loneliness pressing down on him. He looked out the window, the landscape blurring into a meaningless streak of green and brown. Little did he know, a very different kind of adventure awaited him, one that would change everything. The first few weeks in Oakhaven were a blur of unfamiliar faces, confusing schedules, and the constant low-level anxiety of trying to keep up. School was a challenge, but the playground was even worse. He tried to play with the other kids, but his attempts at conversation often ended in awkward silence. His English was improving slowly, but not fast enough to bridge the gap. He spent most of his recesses alone, huddled in a corner, watching the others with a mixture of envy and self-consciousness. One particularly gloomy afternoon, after a frustrating day at school, he decided to take a shortcut home, a narrow alleyway behind his new house. The alley was dark and damp, the air thick with the smell of wet leaves and something else, something vaguely unpleasant. He hurried along, his eyes scanning the ground, avoiding the puddles that reflected the gray sky. Then he saw it. A small brown dog, huddled beneath a stack of discarded boxes, shivering violently. Its fur was matted and muddy, its ribs visible beneath its thin coat. It whimpered softly, its large brown eyes wide with fear. Alex stopped, his heart clenching. He cautiously approached, extending a hand slowly. The dog flinched at first, but then, as Alex remained still, it crept closer, its tail giving a hesitant thump against the damp ground. It seemed incredibly thin and weak, its ribs visible through its matted fur. He knew he had to help. But how? His limited English skills felt like an insurmountable barrier. He couldn't even explain the situation properly. He knew he needed to find someone, anyone, who could understand and help. The dog's whimpers tugged at his heart, a painful reminder of his own feelings of isolation and helplessness. He had to overcome his fear, his shyness, his lack of fluency. He had to try. Alex's first attempt to seek help was met with a shrug and a mumbled, "Can't help you, kid," from a grumpy-looking man emerging from a nearby garage. His heart sank. He tried again, approaching a group of teenagers lounging on a stoop, but his hesitant English only elicited giggles and dismissive waves. He felt a surge of frustration and despair. His limited vocabulary seemed to mock him, rendering him powerless to convey the urgency of the situation. The dog, sensing his distress, nudged his hand with its wet nose, offering a silent plea for help. Alex felt a pang of guilt. He had failed the dog, just like he felt he had failed himself in this new town. He continued his search, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. He tried several more people, each encounter leaving him more disheartened. Some ignored him completely. Others offered unhelpful suggestions in rapid-fire English that he couldn't quite grasp, their words swirling around him like incomprehensible wind. He repeated the same phrases over and over: lost dog, need help, sick dog, his voice cracking with emotion. Each failed attempt chipped away at his confidence, leaving him feeling utterly alone and defeated. The weight of his inadequate language skills pressed down on him, a heavy burden he couldn't seem to shed. He felt the sting of tears behind his eyes, but he stubbornly blinked them back, his focus fixed on the trembling creature at his side. He had to find someone who would understand, someone who would help. He couldn't give up. His determination, fueled by his growing attachment to the lost dog, pushed him forward. Just as despair threatened to overwhelm him, Alex spotted a familiar figure, Mrs. Miller, the librarian from his school. He recognized her from the brief introductions during the school's open house. He remembered her kind smile and the gentle way she spoke, even to the shyest students. A wave of hope washed over him. He approached her cautiously, his heart pounding in his chest. He fumbled with his words, his English still halting, but Mrs. Miller listened patiently, her eyes full of concern as he explained the situation, gesturing towards the shivering dog. He pointed at the dog, then at himself, then at his house, trying to convey the urgency of the situation. To his surprise, she didn't laugh or dismiss him. Instead, she knelt down, gently stroking the dog's head. She spoke in slow, clear English, using simple words and phrases that Alex could easily understand. She asked him questions about the dog, encouraging him to answer, patiently correcting his pronunciation and grammar. It was the first time he had felt truly understood, truly heard. The conversation flowed more easily than it ever had before. Mrs. Miller's kindness and patience created a safe space for him to communicate, a space where his mistakes didn't matter, where his effort was valued. She didn't just offer help. She offered hope, a beacon of light in his otherwise overwhelming new reality. He felt a warmth spread through him, a warmth that had nothing to do with the damp alleyway and everything to do with her genuine empathy. He knew in that moment that he had found an ally, a friend, and a mentor. Back at Mars Miller's cozy, book-lined apartment, Alex felt a sense of calm he hadn't experienced since arriving in Oakhaven. The scent of old paper and brewing tea filled the air, a comforting contrast to the damp chill of the alleyway. Mrs. Miller, with her gentle demeanor and encouraging smile, helped Alex formulate a plan. She patiently guided him through creating simple, clear posters, using vocabulary he already knew and introducing new words related to lost pets. She explained the importance of clear descriptions and contact information, emphasizing the need for simple sentences and easy-to-understand language. She showed him how to use a dictionary and online translation tools to overcome vocabulary hurdles, explaining the nuances of English grammar in a way that was both accessible and engaging. Alex, initially hesitant, found himself responding with growing confidence. He surprised himself with his ability to articulate his thoughts and feelings, encouraged by Mrs. Miller's unwavering support. They worked together, meticulously crafting each poster using large, bold letters and eye-catching images. Alex practiced saying the phrases aloud, Mrs. Miller gently correcting his pronunciation and suggesting alternative word choices. The collaborative effort not only produced effective posters, but also fostered a sense of teamwork and mutual respect. Alex felt a growing sense of accomplishment, a feeling of empowerment that extended beyond the task at hand. He realized that learning English wasn't just about memorizing vocabulary and grammar rules. It was about connecting with people, expressing himself, and making a difference in the world. As they finished the last poster, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose, his earlier despair replaced by a quiet determination. He was ready to face the town again, not as a timid newcomer struggling with a new language, but as a determined young boy with a plan and a friend by his side. Armed with their meticulously crafted posters, Alex and Mrs. Miller set out to spread the word. Mrs. Miller, with her knowledge of the town and its people, guided Alex to strategic locations, the community center, the local shops, the park where children played. At each stop, Alex bravely approached people, his English still tentative but his message clear. He pointed to the pictures of the dog, his eyes shining with a mixture of hope and determination. He repeated the simple phrases he had practiced with Mrs. Miller. Lost dog, please help, reward offered, his voice gaining strength with each successful interaction. He encountered a range of reactions. Some were indifferent, others were sympathetic, offering words of encouragement and assistance. Some even shared their own stories of lost pets, creating unexpected opportunities for Alex to practice his English in natural conversations. He learned about different ways to ask for help, to explain his situation, to express gratitude. He faced moments of awkwardness and confusion, but he persevered, driven by his growing attachment to the dog and his desire to communicate effectively. Each successful interaction boosted his confidence, erasing the fear and uncertainty that had plagued him earlier. He realized that the act of communicating, even imperfectly, was a powerful tool, a way to build connections and inspire action. With each poster placed, each conversation held, Alex felt a sense of accomplishment, a growing sense of belonging in this new town. He was no longer just a silent observer. He was an active participant, a contributing member of the community, and with each step, his English grew stronger, more confident, more fluent. Their search continued, but despite their best efforts, days turned into weeks with no sign of the dog's owner. Alex, however, had formed a strong bond with the dog, now affectionately nicknamed Lucky. He learned about Lucky's needs, the right kind of food, the importance of regular walks, and the comforting routine of playtime and cuddles. Mrs. Miller suggested a visit to Mr. Johnson, the local veterinarian. not only for Lucky's health check but also as another opportunity for Alex to practice his English in a new context. Mr. Johnson, a kind, elderly man with a warm smile and a calming presence, welcomed them warmly. He examined Lucky thoroughly, explaining his findings in simple, clear English, using gestures and visual aids to make sure Alex understood. He discussed Lucky's breed, his probable age, and his overall health, patiently answering Alex's questions. Alex, initially nervous, found himself engaging in a surprisingly fluid conversation, using his newfound vocabulary and sentence structures to ask about diet, exercise, and potential health issues. Mr. Johnson, impressed by Alex's progress, offered further advice on dog care and provided Alex with some helpful English language resources, flashcards, children's books, and even a language learning app. He encouraged Alex to continue practicing, emphasizing the importance of immersion and consistent effort. He shared stories of his own experiences with animals, creating a relaxed and informal atmosphere where Alex felt comfortable expressing himself. The visit to Mr. Johnson was more than just a veterinary checkup. It was a significant step in Alex's journey of language acquisition. He realized that learning English wasn't just about memorizing words and grammar rules. It was about understanding concepts and applying them in real-life situations. He left Mr. Johnson's office feeling empowered, confident, and deeply grateful for the support he had received. He was no longer just learning English. He was living it, experiencing its power to connect him with others and enrich his life. Caring for Lucky became a significant part of Alex's daily routine. The responsibility, initially daunting, became a source of both joy and learning. He learned about the patience required to train a dog, the importance of consistency and positive reinforcement. He learned about the subtle cues in Lucky's behavior: a wagging tail, a lowered head, a hesitant step, and how to interpret them. He learned about the unconditional love a dog can offer, the unwavering loyalty and companionship that transcends words. He spent hours playing fetch in the park, practicing his English with other children, his confidence growing with each passing day. He shared stories about Lucky with his classmates, his English improving with each retelling. He faced challenges, sleepless nights, unexpected accidents, and moments of frustration. But he persevered, driven by his love for Lucky and his determination to provide him with the best possible care. He learned about the importance of routine, of providing a safe and nurturing environment, of understanding the needs of a living creature. He learned about the weight of responsibility, the commitment required to care for another being. He learned about the profound connection that can exist between a boy and his dog, a connection that transcended language barriers and cultural differences. He learned about empathy, patience, and unconditional love, lessons that were far more valuable than any textbook or grammar lesson. The responsibility of caring for Lucky became a powerful catalyst for his personal growth, a transformative experience that shaped his character and enriched his understanding of the world around him. He was learning not just English, but about life itself. Weeks turned into months. Alex's English improved significantly, his sentences becoming more fluent, his vocabulary expanding. He felt more confident interacting with people, his initial shyness replaced by a growing self-assurance. He continued to post flyers and spread the word about Lucky, his efforts fueled by a persistent hope of reuniting the dog with its owner. He visited different parts of town, engaging in conversations with shopkeepers, neighbors, and even strangers in the park. He learned about different aspects of the community, making new acquaintances and building relationships. His interactions weren't just about finding Lucky's owner. They were about immersing himself in the language and culture of his new home. He practiced his English in various contexts, ordering food, asking for directions, chatting with his classmates, honing his skills and expanding his vocabulary. He started to feel a sense of belonging, a feeling of being part of the community. One afternoon, while walking Lucky in the town square, Alex noticed a woman staring intently at them. She had a familiar look of concern and sadness in her eyes. As she approached, Alex's heart began to race. He felt a surge of anticipation, a mixture of hope and nervousness. He could feel Lucky's excitement as well, the dog's tail wagging furiously. The woman's eyes welled up as she looked at Lucky. She spoke in a soft, hesitant voice, her words tumbling out in a mix of English and another language that Alex didn't recognize, but he understood. He understood the longing in her voice, the desperation in her eyes, the overwhelming relief that washed over her face as she reached out to pet Lucky. The woman, whose name was Sarah, explained that Lucky had escaped from her yard during a storm several weeks earlier. She had searched tirelessly, putting up posters and contacting animal shelters, but to no avail. She had almost given up hope of ever seeing him again. Her voice cracked with emotion as she recounted the events leading up to Lucky's disappearance, the feelings of guilt and despair that had consumed her. Alex listened intently, offering words of comfort and understanding, his English now fluent and expressive. He described his own experience finding Lucky, the challenges of caring for him, and the deep bond they had formed. Sarah's eyes filled with tears as she listened to Alex's story, deeply moved by his kindness and compassion. She thanked him profusely, her gratitude overflowing. She explained that she had recently moved to Oakhaven from another country and was still struggling to learn English, which made her search even more difficult. She expressed her admiration for Alex's ability to overcome the language, Thariar and his dedication to helping Lucky, the reunion was emotional and heartwarming. Sarah showered Lucky with affection, her relief palpable. Alex, watching them, felt a profound sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. He had not only helped find Lucky's owner, but had also helped bridge a cultural gap, demonstrating the power of empathy and communication. He had learned that language was more than just words. It was a tool for connection, understanding, and building bridges between people. He had learned that helping others could bring immense joy and fulfillment, and that even the smallest act of kindness could have a profound impact. As Sarah and Lucky walked away, hand in hand, Alex knew that he would never forget this experience. It was a testament to the power of kindness, the importance of perseverance, and the transformative power of learning a new language. He had come to Oak Haven a timid, lonely boy, struggling with a new language. He left a confident, compassionate young man, fluent in English and rich in life experience. He had found more than just a lost dog. He had found a friend, a mentor, and a newfound sense of belonging. He had found home.